when they abandoned ship, two of the guys managed to reach the cliffs and climb up on them. And one of them, I remember, was barefoot, a fellow named Doopy. And we tried to get a rope over to them because it wasn't that far, except it was too far to throw a reasonable line across. The navigator set someone down for Belfast cord, which is a light line. He tied a telephone, Talker's telephone, onto the Belfast cord, swung that. They managed to grab it, tied a heavier line onto that and a heavier line onto that, and the two guys freezing on this breaking wave cliff managed to get a line across. One of the ensigns, who had been a football player and was the heaviest guy, was set over the line to see whether the line would hold. He got to the rock at the base of the cliff. Everybody else got off, with the captain, of course, last, on the bosun chair. The only problem was that once we were ashore on the icy rocks, we were at the base of a cliff on a ledge and no way of getting up. The tide was coming in. As the night came, guys started to get picked off the ledge by the succeeding waves. And I remember another guy and myself reaching for a seaman named Hill, who was standing right behind us. He got washed off by a wave. We reached his collar, but couldn't hold him. And several guys were washed off. I remember three things. I remember saying, "Oh, shit. This is the end." Before that, I was sure enough that it was the end, so that before I abandoned ship, quite a while before, I went down and to the compartment, which was about knee-high in water, took my wife's picture out of the locker, put it in my life jacket, so that when they found my body, they'd find the picture on it and she would know that I had thought about it. And I remember thinking that again, because, for a few minutes before we realized what a predicament it was, we thought, well, we're out of this now, because it was solid, unmoving ground. And the third thing was, I hope they get to me before the waves do. And then all of a sudden, out of the blackness, we heard a voice say, "Is anybody there?" And someone else yelled up, "You bet your life, George." And the next thing I knew, these guys were being hauled up the cliff. And I think this went on for hours. I know it was at least a half an hour before I was pulled up. And a couple of Newfies from the village of Lawn spent the whole night pulling one man up at the time up a 250 reverse-angled cliff in the snow and the partial gale. Most of the wind had dropped by then. How they managed to do it, I don't know. And then some of the guys died. They made a little fire, because there's only scrub in the thing. And the guys who were in the worst shape were put alongside of the fire. Some of the guys died there. And we were there until the next day. Nobody panicked. Nobody. Which is hard for me to believe to this day, that with people being pulled up one at a time and people back here waiting, when you think of a crowded subway and people concerned that the doors are going to close before they get in, and the cattle rush that happens there, and here are guys that know that they're apt to be picked off any minute by the rising waves, not even pushing. Hard to believe. Maybe we were all numb by then, I don't know.